I think my favorite moment in my career would have to be, I think all the European titles, the European Open titles, have just always had a lot of drama to them. So I think those are the most exciting moments in my career. The ones that stick out to me is you know, the comebacks at the European Open and then just winning that one 5 times in a row.
It's crazy to think that we had like 3 rounds.
In 2019, towards the end of a phenomenal season, Paul McBeth found himself at the European Open. At the time, this would make for his 6th appearance at this tournament, and there's only been one instance when McBeth hasn't finished in first place, and that was the first time he made the trip all the way back in 2011. Since then, Paul has managed to win the European Open every single year he's played. And to keep his streak going, McBeth had to mount the most impressive comeback of his career. Through the first 2 rounds of a 4-round tournament, the scores were still tight, with Paul only trailing Ricky Wysocki by 2 strokes.
We know the fans like the Paul and Ricky battle. Does it ever get old to you, or do you still like it too?
I mean, it's competition. I mean, it's a little bit different when it's Rick because we're always right there, back and forth, and with his putting, you know, he can, you know, make birdie or save par from anywhere. So it's a little different in that aspect. With some other players, you know their drives will be better than the putts, but with him, it's putting, so you can never count him out. But no, I just like the competition, so I don't care who it is.
But midway through the 3rd round, things started to turn for the worst.
There's that late turning roller.
But look
I think
at that.
he hit something.
He definitely. Oh, okay. So he didn't get. I thought that he still maintained that forward spin.
Putter for Paul.
And this is gonna.
It's drifting.
Yeah, gravity is not going to be Paul's friend here. That's going all the way to the bottom of the hill. Paul needs this putt with Ricky under the basket for birdie. Oh man,
wow.
And that is going to be another stroke, and maybe it's too short of a hole for his hyzer. But this is completely what I was saying. I think there's just not those like really sketchy holes.
Wow, and Paul's too high as well. Dropped putt there. Never had the height.
Paul McBeth. Whoa, you don't see that on the uphill putt.
The Bengal Tiger. That's what he calls that one.
Makes sense. And that is not a good approach. Paul, off again. This is... There's something weird going on in the air right now. Paul going the Austin Hammer out, but this isn't looking good.
And that's OB in a bad place. That's a good break.
McBeth.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how many of those today is what he just said?
After struggling through round 3, Paul sat 5 strokes back from Ricky Wysocki going into the final day. And with the way Ricky was playing, everyone was counting McBeth out.
I was throwing really good drives and I hit a lot of bullseyes. I think that a lot of inside the circle opportunities and bullseye hits, and that leads to a lot of birdies for me. I feel like, you know, if I'm hitting a lot of greens, a lot of bullseyes, I'm getting a lot of birdies, and my upshot game is really good right now, and I'm saving a lot of pars when I go beyond the tee shots. And if I'm in the fairway, I'm getting up and down for birdie. So I like where my game's at right now, and I'm really I feel like I'm in my comfort zone.
And later that evening, an article was released talking about how McBeth had a disappointing round, and they also said it's going to take a combination of something very special from McBeth and something tragic from Wysocki and McMahon for this to be anything other than a 2-horse race. And McBeth took that personal.
You walked up to me earlier, you said that you'd read an article that called this a 2-horse race between Eagle and Ricky.
I was actually mad after my round yesterday as well. Very frustrated with how I played. So having more fuel to the fire, you know, is always great for me. So it kind of, when I read that, it made me mad.
It became personal with me.
Paul,
easy birdie.
And for the birdie, he is 3 down in the last 3. Invisible from where he was standing. I'm sure he thought that he threw a great shot, and he really did, just did not get the reward.
That's just as perfect as it can be done.
Paul's high, but that's really nothing but perfect.
And Paul going forehand, as I expect the whole group will. This looks very good.
He's aced this hole before, folks.
Oh,
and almost getting the foot golf hole-in-one.
Dances across the cup. Finland is bringing it.
Peoria, Illinois, coming up soon. World Championships. Also,
There it is.
And that is also a bullseye hit. So I guess Paul has a chance to take the outright lead by 2 strokes with a make here.
Gosh, look out, everybody. 15 meter. McBeth first to putt. Outside the circle.
He's just fueled by these moments.
He just sneaks it in. Wait a minute.
You're like, wow.
Here it is. Wow, congratulations. Beast mode. I mean, what a comeback. I can hardly believe how quick that flipped. I can't say I counted him out, but I certainly didn't think he'd be having a comfortable walk into the finish.
After fighting back, Paul was able to add another major to his name and prove that he's never out of the question. He finished the last round at 10 under par, taking the win by 2 strokes, and that's after being down by 5 before the round even started. Most people were counting him out before he stepped on the tee pad, and that same page that doubted him had to write a follow-up article the next day. I mean, at the time, he had already won 4 world championships and proved that he's the best player in the world, so it shouldn't be that surprising. But what Paul's able to pull off continues to amaze people every day. So going forward, first I would say you're dumb to think anything is over when you have the best player in the world on your card. And lastly, if you're playing against McBeth, you don't want to piss this guy off.
It made me mad. So I took that into today, and I was able to get the lead pretty early, which I wasn't expecting that. So I had to change my mindset of all of a sudden I'm in the driver's seat. I need to perform here at the end and not worry about what they're doing.
Obviously, you have a lot of majors in your career, a lot of European Open wins in your career. Can you start to rank where this one and this performance ends up in the books for you personally?
This is probably the best performance. I mean, being back 5 to Rick and then 4 to Eagle. I mean, those are the 2 of the top 3 players in the world. So, I mean, it's a great comeback, and it's something I really enjoy doing. Being in that position, I think just adds a little tick to me that makes me play better. So, yeah, it was a really good one, and this one's hard to win. It's every 2 years, so being able to do that is it's an honor.